This time on the Driver's Corner, we are installing the Gate Shift Kit on my 1979 Porsche 911 SC. Stay tuned. So after doing some research, I decided to purchase the Seine, I think that's how you say it, Systems Gate Shift Kit installation set, as opposed to spending about 4 times that amount on the Wevo, which I know is the superior setup. But for now, I think that this little project should be easy enough and help make the shifts more direct on the 911. My 911 is equipped with a 915 transmission, which is notorious for oddball shifting patterns, including some people that have had issues where they actually blow their motors by shifting down to first gear when they're trying to find third. Or second gear when they're trying to find fourth. So this kit here is kind of genius. I can't believe that Porsche didn't do this from the beginning. So what you get is a couple little bits and pieces and parts in a fancy little plastic bag, and then these instructions that kind of tell you everything that you need. And I didn't read any of this before I got started, so I was a little shocked by some of the stuff that I needed. Luckily I had it, such as like a drift and a center punch, and luckily my Dremel had some attachments. But you need some stuff, so just make sure that you're prepared for this project before you kind of get started. You'll see in the video, I also used a bench vise quite a bit. So this is kind of what everything looks like. This you can almost ignore, because this section here, you're not tinkering with. You don't open any of that stuff. Everything that you're doing is kind of external, and then sliding in a new pin part. So do some measuring, you really have to do some thinking. So I don't know what Pelican put this installation on their website, but I'd say for the average person, you have to have some tools and you have to be willing to take your time. And there's a lot of trial and error as far as how much clearance do I need for this pin, etc., as you'll see in the video. So, but the instruction manual's okay. It's got a couple little bits and pieces. You have to keep flipping back and forth to the main page to determine what flat washer it is. Is it an M6 or is it an M5? I don't know, but you have to go back and look. So overall though, pretty easy install, and you're gonna be along for the ride for most of what I do. All right, so this is our next step right here, putting the gate shift arm on the lever. So basically this is the pile of parts that comes with it. I already used the base plate here, and I also used the washers. You reuse the bolts, the old washers are there. So I guess the next part goes right onto this area over here. And we will give that a shot. All right, so they give you this clamp right here. It's 5/16, and then you've got your gate arm here. So the clamp slides over the end. I've got it in first gear. I don't know if that's what you're supposed to do, but I figured to line it up, that would be easiest.
how tight this should be. It does say to end up welding. I'm gonna move you so I stop smacking the camera. So I put this base plate on here, and then lined up this gate, which basically holds it in first, holds it in second, up to neutral, tip over, and then it's like right into third. So it's like. All right, so I'm gonna adjust this out ever so slightly. So. All right, so our next move is removing all of them. There's a second lock ring right here, so I'm going to yank that out. This lock pin, I have to pull that out, and then that shifter will probably slide out. Here's the new pivot pin. All right, so this was a, hold on, let me pause this. So this was a bit of a pill. What you have to do is, it doesn't really say anything about it in the instructions, but what you have to do is push down on this right here, and that will allow you to slide this gate shift pin into there. Now what we're gonna do is, in those two grooves, I'm gonna slide these lock rings back in. Apparently, if you have the issue that I have, you have to elongate that hole about 1.2 inches. So I've got to make this bigger. Wish me luck. All right, so I'm gonna give this a shot. See if that gives us the clearance we need. So I had to drill these holes for this plate here to rest on that. So then there's a couple little bolts and washers that hold that in place. So that's the next step here. Okay, got that tension piece on there, got the bolts in the bottom there.
So that's basically it. You've got, I put the short throw spring in there, which is, I believe, the higher tension of the two. I don't really remember, but I'll give you kind of an overview. So this is now your neutral, how it has a spring back effect, which is super nice. So it always centers in the gate between 3 and 4. So that would be over and reverse. This is centered up and down for 3rd. So first gear. Now you've got this pin here that kind of makes sure that it's in first. You know, you've got a little bit of clearance. When you go to shift down to 2nd, it's direct. It goes right into 2nd gear, and that spring tension is always pulling against it. So watch this. When I pop it out, it goes right up there. So when you're going from 3rd up to 3rd from 2, it's just super direct. And then same thing if you were going from 3rd down to 4th, there's no guessing. And then your spring has you right there in the center. So I totally get it. I think that this is a mistake that Porsche made from the get-go, and honestly I can't believe it that they didn't solve that in the 15 years that they were running this 915 transmission. So I really feel like this is a genius fix to the problem, and I'm sure it doesn't feel the same way that a G50 feels, but for $150 that is about as direct as I could hope that that my shifting and transmission would be. So I did take it out for a spin and checked it out on the road, and I was really impressed and super happy with the install. The only thing I've got left to do is I'm going to take this clamp off and I'm going to weld this on. They also have a hole, so this plate here, it's covered up by the band right now, but there is a hole there. So if you don't own a welder, you could probably, but you did have a drill, you could probably center punch this and drill a hole through and then bolt that thing to it. I do own a welder, so I've got a nice little Hobart there, and I will be welding mine on. And then, as some of you guys who know me on some of the Facebook groups and other stuff know, that I'm working on a wood shift knob that I'm turning on my lathe for this right now. So again, as always, I really appreciate you guys tuning in. I hope you enjoyed this project, and I can't wait to go for an extended drive with this new shift kit and really appreciate the experience that is this modified shifter. So thanks so much. 10 out of 10, would recommend. Have a great day.